of this esteemed agency, we must carefully consider the qualifications, character, and the vision required for such a critical position. The FBI faces an array of complex challenges, from cyber threats to transnational crime, and the director plays a pivotal role in addressing these issues. We're here today to scrutinize the qualifications of the nominee and to ensure that they possess the necessary skills and commitment to lead the FBI in upholding the highest standards of accountability, transparency, and impartiality. As we engage in a thorough examination of the nominee's qualification, I encourage my fellow committee members to ask probing questions, seek clarity on pertinent issues, and deliberate thoughtfully on the crucial responsibility we bear in confirming the next FBI director. It is our duty to ensure that the nominee is not only qualified for this position, but also possesses the ethical fortitude and commitment to public service necessary for such a demanding role. I look forward to a constructive and rigorous confirmation process, during which we will have the opportunity to assess the suitability of the nominee for this vital position. Let's proceed with the solemn duty entrusted to us by the American people, working together to ensure the continued strength and effectiveness of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Thank you. Seeing as the ranking member is not here, there is no ranking member. All members will have until the end of the day to insert their opening statements into the record. I now will allow the witness to give their opening statement.
Chairman and members of the Committee on Judiciary Ethics, Indian Affairs and Administration. I'm honored to stand before you today as a nominee for the position of Director of the FBI. Recognizing the critical role this committee plays in ensuring the ethical conduct and integrity of our nation's law enforcement agencies. Throughout my career, I have remained unwavering in my commitment to upholding the highest standards of ethics, accountability, and transparency. If confirmed, I pledge to lead the Federal Bureau of Investigation with a steadfast dedication to these principles, fostering an organizational culture that values integrity and ethical behavior at every level. In addressing the challenges and responsibilities that come with the FBI, I'm acutely aware of the need to inspire public trust and confidence in our nation's premier law enforcement agency. My goal is to work collaboratively with this committee to strengthen ethical practices within the Bureau, upholding the rule of law, and ensure that justice is administered fairly and impartially. I look forward to engaging in constructive dialogue with you, discussing the measures we can take to implement and maintain the highest ethical standards within the FBI, by extension, safeguard the principles upon which our great democracy stands. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much. I will now swear in our witness. May they please rise and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct, to the best of your knowledge, information, and beliefs, so help you God?
I do.
Let the record show the testifier has answered in the affirmative. Thank you. Please be seated. Please know that each of your written statements will be entered into the record entirely, and please summarize your testimony in 5 minutes. You can ignore that. We'll now open into the questioning period. So I'll recognize myself to ask the questions. So, Mr. Carter, how do you view the FBI's role in protecting and upholding citizens' Second Amendment rights, particularly in the face of potential gun control measures?
Well, when it comes to the Second Amendment, it's a very important piece of our Constitution. It protects. It's basically it keeps the government in check. It says that if the government ever is to take away a right, the citizens have the right to protect themselves and overthrow the government, essentially, and to protect their rights that were taken away. And I believe, as the director of the FBI, it would be my how do I say this? It would be my duty to protect the citizens and not politicians. So when my role comes to protecting our people and their rights, I will do all I can do, put all my faith into, to make sure that I do it to the utmost ability. And I will protect it at all costs.
How would you approach counterterrorism efforts, especially in dealing with organizations or individuals that pose threats to national security based on their ideologies or affiliations?
Well, I plan on creating once I do become if I get confirmed, I plan on creating a joint task force for this certain kind of thing, counterterrorism, and it would be comprised of ethics, ethics, ethics masterminds, uh, and masterminds in every field that can help us determine how this person is going to work, what their goal is, and how we can prevent this from happening again. So I believe that with a joint task force with such professionals, we can protect our people and protect them.
Okay, you'll have to forgive me just a second. I lost my page here. Um, let's see. In what way do you envision the FBI preserving and upholding traditional values, particularly those that are important to Americans in its operation and interactions with the public?
Well, thank you. That's an important question. When it comes down to protecting the public, that's our number one priority. It comes before everything else that we do. We serve the people. So when it comes to protecting them, we will go to any means necessary to make sure all of our citizens have equal protection, equal. Um, oh Lord, equal rights, and make sure that hate crimes don't happen because it's our First Amendment right to have freedom of speech, really practice whatever religion, and we will protect that. So we protect all of our rights with using the FBI.
Um, how would you ensure that the FBI safeguards religious freedom and protects individuals or groups from discrimination based on their religious beliefs?
Good question. Like I said before, when I do, if I get confirmed, I do plan on opening multiple joint task forces, and that would be another one. Uh, it'll be I don't know what to call it as of now. But it'll be more of protecting our First Amendment rights, because in this day and age, hate crimes have become a lot more popular. People can be a Muslim and they can get attacked. People can be Chinese and get attacked for spreading the coronavirus. And I think it's very important to safeguard all of our civilians. So I plan on creating a joint task force between agencies to make sure that we can protect our civilians at all costs. We need professionals who can determine why this is happening, who's targeting, and why are they targeting. And I believe it's a very important subject on our docket as my on my docket as the FBI director, if confirmed.
Okay. What measures would you implement to strengthen the FBI's commitment to law and order, and how would you address concerns about rising crime rates in certain communities?
I plan on combating rising crime rates by increasing our federal presence. I want to be more available to the local police force if needed. We can be there to help and assist in investigations, and that would be including our not including increasing our field offices in certain areas because some areas may not have it. The places that do have it, they're probably going to be as equipped as the others. So I want to make sure all of our field officers are equipped. They have the right amount of staff, the right amount of people to make sure that we can safely protect our cities and nation.
Okay. How do you plan to ensure accountability and transparency within the FBI to address any concerns about potential misuse of power or political bias within the agency?
I plan on working with the Office of Special Counsel and the Office of Professional Standards. Make sure. Oh,
The
make sure
committee
that
will
all
be
of
in
our
order. You may continue.
yeah. All right. I plan on creating various documents. Make sure that we can keep all of our people, FBI agents, in check because the people are supposed to be protecting us. People we entrust with our rights. If we can't trust them, how does that make us an agency under the federal government? That will corrupt our government, and it will cause all kinds of hate and malice towards our people. We can't allow that. So I plan on utilizing the special counsel, general counsel, and the professional standards development to ensure that we do our job and we make sure we do it correctly and not oppressively.
Yeah. How should the FBI respond to civil unrest and protests to ensure the protection of public safety while also respecting an individual's First Amendment rights?
You restate that question.
Yeah. How should the FBI respond to civil unrest and protests to ensure the protection of public safety while respecting an individual's First Amendment rights?
Well, mainly to do that, it's to do our part. If we can't do our part in that, that means we're failing as an agency. It's protecting. That's its duty to protect our homeland. And if we can't protect it, and there's a problem, and we need to protect all of our rights, as I stated before. Excuse me, right quick.
Oh yeah, you're fine.
With law officials like our special counsel, like I stated before, the general counsel, to make sure that they are within their limits to do such things and certain things, not oppress our people.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted at the moment. How do you interpret the FBI's role in relation to states' rights and federalism, and what steps would you take to maintain a balance between federal authority and state sovereignty?
Well, the main how I plan on that is by communication, states and federal government. If we can't communicate, then we can't have order, and if we can't have order, that means all hell's gone loose. So I believe with communication, and they can request our assistance, and we can request their assistance with certain operations and individuals. It all comes down to communication between federal and local and state.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask about this, but I'm curious as to what's going on in the public space between the Department of Justice, FBI, and a regional government's executive leadership, as I think it is. Is it the lieutenant governor?
Lieutenant Governor,
Yeah.
the former Lieutenant Governor.
Just
Well,
basic layman's terms, an overview, I guess. I don't need like the specifics because I'm
Yeah.
sure it's probably an ongoing investigation.
Yeah, it's an ongoing investigation. I can't really
Yeah.
speak on most of the things, but I can speak about how the former lieutenant governor came at the United DOJ and FBI because we were, in quote, wasting taxpayer dollars because we were investigating a false claim by another lieutenant governor, which was David Bowe of I can't remember the region, but he posted a picture with federal agents who were not federal agents because we did not deploy agents to the border, which we will sooner or later. But at the time, we had not, and he was claiming that we did. And he also stated that we weren't taking care of the investigation into former Governor Xavier Francois correctly, I believe.
Mhm.
Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what he had said, and it was more of a, and he, it was more of a petty thing, might I say, and he was just going on about it, and he wanted to ban me as a person when I'm not in my acting authority. He wanted to ban me from his region, which was the Atlantic region, which I didn't have a problem with, but it seemed very unethical of him to do it. And
Okay.
I can't admit I did do a petty response. I said stop yapping, which I shouldn't have said. I apologize for that.
Um,
He hasn't replied yet, but yeah, it's
um,
more of a petty thing that's going on between him. I tried talking to him though.
I gotcha. I mean, you're only human. Let's see. What strategies would you employ to address concerns about political extremism, ensuring that the FBI's efforts are focused on genuine threats rather than infringing on political dissent?
Well, I think it's all about the we can we can do online presence because their online presence, as we've noticed in the past, online presence of political extremists are very high. They use a lot of chat rooms and they speak about their political extremism. We investigate, and as we investigate, we find out that more and more about those people aren't actually just regular political debaters. They're more extreme on their side. So we can fight extremism by putting monitoring on such groups like Aryan Brotherhood, etc.,
Hmm.
and neo-Nazi groups. So yeah, it's more about monitoring those type of groups, trying to
Okay.
prevent them from starting up.
Okay. Um, are there any specific areas within the United States Code that you believe need amendment or revision to better align with Federalist principles? And if so, what recommendations would you make?
That's a tricky one.
Or do you just have
Well,
any revisions
yeah,
or amendments you want to make to the code in general?
I can't give a specific,
Okay.
but I can say something more about like online like monitoring of citizens.
Hmm.
It can be more relaxed because when we monitor online, even though it's a constitutional violation, there's like some right, like what's it called bills and
So,
stuff that it were passed and stuff. I
oh,
believe
so
that
you want to
if
like scale back the Patriot Act?
yeah, just not too much,
Okay.
just to where we can make sure that we can prevent terrorist attacks because most terrorist attacks happen online, like I said before,
Mm.
and we can't really monitor them without being too illegal into our work, which we
Okay.
don't want to do because we don't want to oppress our people, as I said before. So if we can scale that back a little more, we can have a little more monitoring on the people, and we can stop them before they do something horrific to our country.
Yeah. All right. Well, I am going to yield, and I now recognize Mr. Underwood for his questioning.
Thank you. I just have a few questions for the Deputy Director. My first question is, what is your stance on, for example, do you plan to make a task force that deal with, or if it happens again, for such a revolution from former,
So
such as former Governor Xavier Francis, when he tried marching down and taking over the regions? Do you have a plan to make a prevention task force for that specific thing to prevent it from happening again? Do you have a plan to prevent that from happening again ever?
um, excuse me, but I couldn't really understand your question as there was a lot of interference on your end.
You're,
If you could type it out, that'd be better.
no, I understand.
As I was saying, is there any plan from the FBI? Because I know previously you dealt with a revolution from former Governor Francis. Does the FBI or the deputy, as you the deputy director, do you have any plan to make a task force to prevent this from happening, or any plan in the future to prevent it from happening?
Uh, as the director of the FBI, I certainly hope it doesn't have to come towards me making a task force. But if it does, task force to stop our political corruption within our country, it's very ashaming that former Governor Francois did what he did. He was entrusted with many different states inside of his regions, their trust, and he betrayed it by trying to start a war between the country. He tried to start a civil war, which we did not agree with. I don't think any American would agree with at all. So if it comes down to making such actions to make a task force, I will do it because we entrust these people with our rights. And if we can't trust them, then there's something seriously wrong within our government. And I will make sure that that is fixed before I tender my seat after my term. So
Thank you. Do you have any plans? What's your goals as deputy director? What's the plan for? Because I don't think the FBI had a previous director. What's your plan for recruitment as the director of FBI?
My plan for recruitment is to mainly focus on certain individuals who seem dedicated enough and they want to pursue something more and greater in life. So if I can get those people to join, then I certainly will do all that I can. I will make sign-on bonuses for whoever who can stay in the FBI and do their job efficiently. Supporting those who are the most qualified and the most dedicated to their job and their cause.
All right, final question. Sorry about this. So it is to my, I'm sorry, I'm new to the Senate. It is to my understanding the FBI is to have a division to combat corruption within the local government as well as law enforcement. Do you have any plans on, or have any advice or explanation on what your plans to do with that? And if that's were the steps you would take to pretend, or not pretend, but protect the Constitution, the American citizens against corrupt politicians?
Well, that's a good question, actually. I plan on cooperating with attorney towns on making sure we have correct documents and the correct evidence and all the things we need to pursue charges, and we need to get a warrant out for them if they are doing what they're doing, because it's very unethical and illegal what they're doing. And if we can't trust them, then who can we trust in our government? If we can't trust the people we elect and put in office every 4 years or 2 years or whatever, how can we trust our government? So I will do all that I can with the Department of Justice and the Attorney General and the courts to make sure that we have the correct documentation, evidence, and all the legal things that we need.
All right, sorry, I think that was my last question. I have one final question. Do you have any experience in law enforcement whatsoever?
Yes, I do. I actually have former experience in the military. Would you like to hear those experiences, or?
Yes, if you can for me, please.
All right, and does that include in this group or just all of them in general?
Any in general, I just want to know your general law enforcement stance, your professionalism.
All right. Well, I previously served as the NSA General Counsel. Served as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. I also served as the CIA director. I also served as the deputy director of the FBI. When it comes down to like local law enforcement, I have served as the chief Los Angeles. I have served as LAFD. I haven't done too many local law enforcement, but my federal law enforcement detail, it is pretty detailed in experiences on my end.
All right, thank you. I yield my time back to the chair.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Underwood, for your questions, and also thank you to the witness for answering. I have no further questions, so this concludes today's hearings. Thank you to our distinguished testifier for participating. Without objection, members will have 5 legislative days to provide additional written questions to the witnesses or add it to the record. Without objection, the hearing is adjourned.